Hey, this is Alex Grossi from Quiet Riot, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. I can't get enough of these guys. Turn it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hello, Potter Than Hellions. Welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host, and across from me today is
BC.
And on his left is
BB.
And across from him is
Dylan.
He would be our keyboard player this evening, and we have our returning guest, Mr. Mark Hoover. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I didn't know you guys were on the same room. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, except when we had the COVID shit and everybody was quarantined and stuff. But, yeah, we're pretty much...
We're all vaccinated, so what the hell?
Yeah, that's true, too.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so, Hoover, how's it going, my friend? Good?
It's going all right. It's been a while. I think October was the last time we did something together.
Oh, really?
Man, time's flying in
No
quarantine.
Shit. No shit. Holy God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Is that the Jesse James thing, Hoove?
It might have. I can't remember. I'd have to look at my files. I know a couple of us did some offshoot stuff, some special things with Rob Halford and stuff.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Steve
we did a couple interviews and
right.
stuff. We did Graham Bonnet and Don Dokken and a bunch of them too. So, but like since he's been on an actual episode, it has been a while. I'm gonna have to go back and check and see what it is. So anyway, welcome back and thanks for hanging with us tonight. And as you guys can see by the title of the episode, which I'm sure Quiet Riot will be in it somewhere, we're gonna talk about our top Quiet Riot songs today. And before we get into that, last week we did the MTV Music Awards, which was I thought that was a good one. Dylan, that was your baby. So what'd you think?
I always love looking back at different award shows and seeing what the temperature was in terms of music. Like I said last episode, it's really fun to see what was popular back then, what people thought was good music, and what people were really watching. Because some of the videos we remember very well. Well, you guys remember very well. And some of them disappeared off the face of the earth, never to be seen again. So it was really cool seeing all those videos from the past and seeing how similar, how different they were.
Who was here? Which one of you guys was here? BB
I was here.
What'd you think? I'm trying to think who the fuck was here.
I loved it. I love stuff like that because it always makes you rattle your brain of what video actually won the MTV Music Award because, for me, Uncle Tom's Cabin is still the best video ever fucking made. So
Easy.
that stupid Aerosmith video that won for just because Steven Tyler did a backflip on stage, he gets a fucking
At the very end.
yeah, big deal. But no, I love that shit. Love going back to those days. MTV. That was just another avenue of seeing what these bands look like and actually watching them play live. It's just a great episode.
Yeah, I enjoyed that episode. And last week we did the live stream with Shout Out Loud cast and the Growing Up Rock. Growing Up Rock was the host, and we actually did not do it yet because we're recording on the 18th and the live stream's on the 19th. But when you guys check that out, it kind of, for me, goes with last week's episode that, with the videos, because a lot of the songs that we're going to be doing in the live stream are songs like we did in the episode. And I was telling Dylan today, I said, a lot of those songs were songs that were on MTV. They were also videos, and it was right in that sweet spot of when MTV started going. And most of those songs I know, like some of them as you will have heard, I think suck. But they were the songs that we were watching on MTV, going through, 15 pop songs to get to Judas Priest, Another Thing Coming, or the Van Halen live ones I used to show from Oakland, from the
Diver Down?
No.
Live Without a Net?
No.
Us Festival?
Brain freeze. Oh, Fair Warning Tour. I'm sorry. God, I totally froze up on that one.
Oh, yeah.
But all those songs, all those pop songs and stuff like that, you know them by heart, and you just kind of learn them by osmosis. So I like doing those episodes, and when we talk about the videos, and and like I said, I'll always bring up Van Halen Hot for Teacher. You can't separate the song from the video, and there's a lot of those songs we talked about, and even the ones that we did on the regular episode, that you can't separate the songs from the episode. And I like that too, because at that time when MTV came out, you finally got the visual of the band. How many times? That's the first time that I've ever seen Van Halen perform anything. You didn't have YouTube. You had MTV, and you had the USA Video Hits or whatever that was on before that, and they would play some clips and stuff like that. You'd get lucky, you'd see maybe Kiss on Solid Gold or Fridays when they were on, but up until MTV, you didn't get to see these bands, and it was really cool. And then when we talked about the videos for the music awards, like that was when they started making mini movies for these videos. And I think that was cool, like especially like the Janie's Got a Gun one. That was like a movie. That, you know what I mean? And you're right, BB.
It's not bad.
No, but it's better than the one that beat out
one.
Uncle Tom's Cabin the next year, though. But
Yes.
that was way better. But I really like those kind of episodes. Number one, they're not ones we have to listen to like 5 albums for and stuff like that. So it's always fun to do them. So, and now everybody is up in arms, and this was over a week ago, almost 2 weeks by the time you guys hear this. The Grammys were on, and everybody's all up in arms about the bullshit, in quotations, tribute that they did for Eddie Van Halen. I look at it, I'll ask you guys your opinion in a second. I look at it this way. I don't expect anything from these idiots because they don't know what the hell they're doing. They've always shunned and just kind of like, rock, hard rock, hell with that stuff. So I didn't expect them to do anything. They actually did a little more than I thought they would. Like, people are going nuts, and I think Wolfgang said it the best. My dad would have been, you know what, screw it, who cares? And, I mean, that's pretty much how I feel because I don't expect anything from them. Hoover, what do you think about that?
Here's my honest opinion. I think the Grammys are totally clueless. They always have been. And compared to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they are purposely hurtful toward rock artists. I think there's a big difference between the both of them. The Hall of Fame is an elitist club. They don't like any of the hard rock or heavy metal, and they purposely shun them. And I think the Grammys just don't know any better.
I agree with that. Absolutely. What do you think, BB?
Yeah, I was actually watching it with my daughter, and because she is all into that music and crazy stuff, and they said they're going to do a thing. I'm like, oh wow, I wonder if they'll say something about Eddie Van Halen, in case she's like, well, that's really not like pop. She's like, she knows.
Yeah.
She's just like when Ozzy did the song with Post Malone. She comes down, she goes, hey, Ozzy did a song with Post Malone. Everybody thinks Ozzy's like this brand new singer. So she kind of knows, what I listen to, what she like, and she even said it. Well, they probably won't say anything because that's not really this kind of show. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I said, you're lucky if you get like a picture just streaming by. But when I saw that Frankenstein, just like there, spotlight on it, 15 seconds worth of a little eruption, I'm like, that was really fucking cool. And then like a couple days later, Wolfgang actually came out and said they actually asked him to play it. So that would have been even cooler if Wolfgang out. But like you guys said, anything to recognize some kind of rock during that show, I'll take 15 seconds. That was perfectly fine for me.
I didn't see it myself, but like I heard and read about it. But I mean, hey, something's better than nothing, I guess. But like you said, that audience is not into this kind of music whatsoever. They don't acknowledge it. I don't think so. I can't say I'm surprised by anything.
I mean, it was a wonder that he was recognized at all, because there's some people
exactly
in both the Academy Awards and the Grammys. They always screw up the in memoriam section where they'll leave out big names. I mean, not big name, but Frankie Banali wasn't mentioned at all. Naya Rivera wasn't mentioned. She was somebody who passed away last year that a lot of people knew. But it's just par for the course that they're always blind about something. So I wasn't surprised that there was backlash, because it's just a shit show anyways. They did like, I don't understand why they do Record of the Year and Song of the Year as two different things. I still don't understand what the hell that means. And it confuses me to this day, and I just don't like the Grammys to begin with.
That's why I like doing those episodes, because it really brings out how close they are. Well, you know why? They didn't do much for him. because Van Halen starts with a V. They always go with the shit at the beginning of the
you're
alphabet.
right. Yeah. Well, case in point, best metal performance, the winner was Bum Rush by Body Count, the first alphabetically of all the
There you go.
Once
of
again.
all the nominees. Good song though, good song. But I'm really disappointed that Power Trip didn't win for a posthumous win for the singer.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
That would have been very cool.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so I just wanted to discuss that real quick there. And before we get into a little Quiet Riot, what are we listening to? Hoover, what are you listening to these days? I mean, besides playing music all day on the radio.
To be honest with you, I was on a Genesis kick the last couple of weeks. Phil Collins turned 70 back in, I think it's February already. And I just been rolling through the Genesis catalog, including the Peter Gabriel years.
All right, cool. BB.
Today I was kind of flipping around some live stuff, and the one thing that really caught my ear was ZZ Top, live in Germany from 1980. Just a great. It feels like they're in like a little club over in Germany.
They probably
like
were.
Old stuff. Like I Thank You, Waiting for the Bus, Jesus Just Left Chicago, Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, LaGrange, Tush. Just a fantastic shit from all the way back in 1980. So good stuff. Check that album out. It's called Live in Germany, Rock Palast, 1980.
Wonder if they opened for Sally Bowles. It's a cabaret reference for you there, Dad.
Okay.
Liza Minnelli, come on.
All right.
No?
No. So anyway, what are you listening to?
Well, funny you should mention
No.
Phil Collins, because I was listening to a little Genesis as well, because in the draft that we're doing, Land of Confusion is one of the songs. Fantastic song. And weirdly enough about Phil Collins, he's been getting a renaissance lately for his soundtrack for Tarzan. Like, everybody's been like really going back to that soundtrack. It's a good soundtrack, but it's just really weird that that's just popping up back in the zeitgeist again. But yeah, this 80 soundtrack that were of the Billboard songs from 1980 to 1989 that we're doing for the draft, and it will be out by the time we put this episode out, as you said earlier. I'm gonna keep this playlist because this playlist rocks. This is such a good playlist. You got a lot of Duran Duran on here, some Styx, Van Halen, Asia, Scorpions, a couple songs, Der Kommissar's on there. Love that song. Maniac, your favorite from Flashdance. That song is so good.
Terrible.
But yeah, I'm listening to a lot of 80s songs.
Okay. BC, what do you got going?
I've been listening to a lot of music for once in my life. I was listening to the new Thunder came out with All the Right Noises. Great album, great band. Sunstorm, I picked up the Ronnie Romero as a new project, I guess you would say. He sings for Lords of Black, their album Afterlife. I finally got down to sit down and listen to Project Gemini in the year 73, book 2, finally, and poof, I messaged Mark. I said, this album is by far, oof. I mean, I was blown away by it when you really get to sit down to it. And then the Thirst, my acoustic whistle, I picked up, used the 5-man acoustic London Jam for Tesla.
Vinyl?
No, CD.
CD?
Good.
$5.
Is it worth? Was it even worth that?
Of course it is.
Okay.
Especially just for Miles High.
That is a good song. For me, I've been listening
Miles
to
away,
some
I'm sorry.
Dio era Black Sabbath, the Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, which I actually won the digital copy off of WEZX Rock 107. Thank you, Hoover, for informing me that I did actually win that, the digital copy of that. And I actually have it on vinyl and CD now, actually.
Yeah, I got to pick it up on CD this weekend, I think.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the extra stuff that they put in with that, who's ever in charge of doing the packaging for the Dio re-releases and the Black Sabbath re-releases are doing a fantastic job. The extra stuff they put on there is great. Like there's like they'll put like the soundtrack version of Mob Rules was on there, and there's some live stuff. Very cool, very great packaging. And
a lot of that stuff was available on the UK version that came out a couple of years ago.
Right. But they have done a great job of just re-releasing that stuff. And there's an album I think I sent it to Dylan the other day. It's it's probably pronounced Shay, right, Dylan? Shay Kane.
Yeah, I think so.
Some hot girl from some band in Europe or something like
that.
that.
Like the Frontiers record
Yeah,
girl?
yeah. And it's pretty good. It's like really poppy, really like pop, borderline hard rock stuff, but it's really good. There's some really cool guitar work in it. She sings really well. It's pretty cool, actually. So there's what we're listening to. Hoover and Dylan actually have some Genesis going, and Dylan and myself actually was listening to all those 80s songs for our live stream that was last week. And BB's got some ZZ Top live in Germany, Rock Blast 1980. BC's actually got a lot of shit this week. I'm proud of you, buddy. Thunder, All the Right Noises, the new Sunstorm album, Project Gemini in the year 3073, Book 2, and Tesla 5-Man London Jam on CD. And Dio era Black Sabbath, and Shay Kane for me. So,
And of course, this being March, I don't know who else did it. I got the Dropkick Murphys out of my system, so I don't have to listen to them for a year.
I had to work on St. Patrick's Day, which was yesterday, so I didn't get to indulge in any of that kind of stuff. So, how about you, BB? Did you drink? I saw you were drinking some kind of green stuff.
I had some green beer. Had Dad up for a couple beverages. Made him some corned beef in the crock pot, and also did a little smoked corned beef for him. So he was very happy camper. And just good old day. Nothing like it has been back in the, at least 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so
well,
I had to make my own green beer.
Well, you'll be able to sit at a bar, I guess, coming up next month in Pennsylvania, I guess. So now, was that actual green beer, or did you put food coloring in your beer?
Food coloring.
Okay.
I would love for that to be an elaborate April Fool's joke.
What?
Surprise! We're not allowed.
Yeah, surprise. We're back in red. God damn it. Remember the Windsor used to have green Coors Light on tap for St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, a lot of places did.
Yep.
Just dropping a couple of food coloring droplets in the keg. That's all.
Back in the old world.
Yeah, back when you
Remember
used to be able
back
to
in
do
the day
shit.
when we had green beer, we didn't have to wear a mask.
You can sit next to each other.
Sometimes social distancing is not a bad thing.
True.
All right, so there's what we're listening to, and I forgot about this.
The Potter Than Hell podcast presents Random Thoughts with Sonny Hollywood Pooty.
So, you're on a road that has one lane going each way, and this complete dumb fuck asshat is tailgating you. You're already driving above the speed limit, so why doesn't the asshat just pass you? You know why? Because he ain't got the balls to pass you and would rather just tailgate. What I want to do is stop my car, pull him out of his car, and beat him to within an inch of his life, and then just drive away. Is that wrong?
No.
Pony.
Okay, I think that is not wrong, but in lieu of doing that, I would slow right down. I would just slow down to like 15 miles an hour and just piss him off.
Yeah, the best revenge is living well. Like making him even angrier, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
definitely slow down.
You never know if this guy's gonna have like a crowbar in his, and like riding shotgun with him that he'll just like smack.
Doesn't
you in
matter.
the
We have
face
guns.
Well,
I'm with Pooney. Rip him out of the car.
What do you think, Hoover? What would you do?
I'd brake check them.
yeah, brake checking I think is the best way to do it.
I like it.
Really piss them off. It's like when somebody's trying to get past you in line at the grocery store. You're in the aisle and you just kind of want to take your time because they're really being kind of an asshole about it. You just let them slow down. If life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you might miss it.
That's right, Ferris. All right, so there's our random thought with Sonny Pooney. So let's talk about some Quiet Riot here. We've talked about them a ton of times on the show, but we've never done an actual show about Quiet Riot. We've talked about them live and stuff like that. So we'll go around and we each have a top 10 list. Dylan, do a randomizer because I didn't do it.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll go around, we'll read our list, but then, say how you got into Quiet Riot too, and, if you've seen them live and what, I just say whatever configuration you've seen them in because it's, I don't know if have you guys watched the Quiet Riot, the documentary? No? I know you have, BC, right?
I have.
Right? And at the end, it shows like of all the guys, all the people that were in Quiet Riot over, there's like, what is it, like 60 or something like that? It's just like
Crazy.
insane amount.
God.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning.
Yeah,
Beginning-
yeah. But I mean,
just-
even like since the 80s too, there's been a shitload of different people
yeah.
in there. All right, Hoover, you're our guest. Give us your Quiet Riot story.
All right. Well, I got him. I don't remember exactly how I got into him, but I do remember getting the album very early on. The Mental Health album, and I listened to that thing over and over and over. I just remember plugging the headphones into the stereo in my room and just falling asleep every night. And I'd fall asleep to side A one night, and then the next night I listened to side B, and it was over and over and over again. I loved everything about the band. Their videos. I love the whole mask kind of thing, and like I was so big into Quiet Riot, like it was one of those things. Like when Condition Critical was coming out, I could not wait to buy it.
All right, BB, when'd you get into them, and how?
Yeah, I'm just like Hoover. I came in right in '83 when Mental Health came out. It just seemed like I was going to try to see what song was actually released first, because I'm sure it was Come On Feel the Noise, because it was all over the place. And it just seemed like everybody I knew, oh my God, hear the Quiet Riot, this Quiet Riot, Quiet Riot. So, of course, I pick up the tape and I start listening. Oh, these guys are really good. And then they come out like with the next song, Mental Health. And then like everybody like from A to Z is all over these guys. Like, these guys are the best thing ever. Blah, blah. So I always got that saturation of these guys, and it was just, it was almost like too much too fast. And this is always why I'm never like the Quiet Riot guy. Like certain songs I like, but this album, I think it was just oversaturation of everybody who I hung out with back in the day. Like just loved this album, and it just turned me right off to the whole band, because I'm not really that. I want to take that left turn by myself. I don't want to listen to what everybody else is listening to.
He's the hipster.
Thanks for joining us, BB, and let's move on.
And I'll see you guys next week.
And we'll get you out of rehab for next week's episode.
Yes.
How about you, BC?
Again, 1983 was probably when I picked up the cassette and played the shit out of it in the Walkman. If I walked somewhere, I had it in my headphones. Going in the car, I had it going on in headphones. Just played the shit out of this album. And like you said, that was I think it was Come On Feel the Noise was the first. Whatever it may have been. I mean, I like the other shit more than the things they released, actually, in the long run even. But I can remember playing shit out of this album.
Dylan, any fond Quiet Riot memories for you?
Well,
Just pulling the CD off the CD case and rolling around in it.
Yeah.
being born in 1994, there's a few bands that just I don't have a memory of first experiencing them. They've just been there. The songs were just kind of in my mind from the beginning. Quiet Riot was one of them, with Come On Feel the Noise and Mental Health, Bang Your Head. They're Mom, We're All Crazy Now. Of course, two of those are covers, but we won't hold it against them. Just like Def Leppard, they were just always on the radio, and I would always hear them. And Osmosis, they were just kind of always there for me.
I'm sure you heard them in utero, too.
I'm sure that's the case. I'm sure.
Yeah, for me, it's kind of they're kind of a tough band to pinpoint when you actually first heard them. It's not one of them things like where you remember exactly where you were when you heard something like some albums you have that memory of. But I mean, and you were right, BB. When these guys came out, they were all over the place. And Hoover, I don't know if you did. You might be younger. BC, did you see them when they played the West Side Theater in Scranton?
Yes.
No,
You missed them, Hoover?
I did.
That was my first show from them, and obviously for you too, BC. Kicks opened up for them.
Kicks open up for everybody.
Yeah, and Kicks, and that was the first time I saw Kicks as well. No, wait a minute. Yeah, because we saw Kicks with Ace later at the West Side Theater.
After that?
I think so.
Mine's-
Pretty sure. But great show, and even when they played, they were doing stuff that would come out on Condition Critical, because I vividly remember them doing Stomp Your Hands, Clap Your Feet, and Party All Night. I distinctly remember them doing them two songs, as well as like pretty much the whole album of Mental Health. But it was a really cool show. I mean, that was back in the days where Kevin Dubrow had the black and white swirled stripe on the microphone stand, and a good friend of ours, Tammy Cesara, she was a well, I'm sure she still is. I don't know if she does it anymore, but professional photographer. She was actually for years the house photographer at the Spectrum, and she was up here at that time, and she had some fantastic pictures from that show. I still actually have 4 of them that she gave me from that show in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it was just cool seeing those guys. And that was like right before they like exploded. The album was out and it was just catching on, and like right after that, a couple months after that show, I think they just like totally exploded. But the thing about Quiet Riot is I don't know what your take is on it, Hoover, either. They just kind of like faded out. Like Mental Health hit, they were huge. Condition Critical came out. They were playing probably arenas at the time, and then by the time Quiet Riot 3 came out, Quiet Riot 3 came out, we saw them at Rocky Glen. So I don't know what the deal is.
I think it came down to, I mean, you watch some of the old documentaries and stuff, and you read Rudy Sarzo's book. I mean, Kevin Dubrow was not a nice person.
No, he was a dick.
Back in the 80s. He made everybody else feel uncomfortable. Nobody wanted to be around him. They were suing the record company. He was blasting other bands. He hated all the publications that were out in the 80s, all the magazines that would have helped them. And I think people just got sick of his shenanigans, and I think they put him on a blacklist.
That could very well be, because even things like got a mouth like an alligator. Like shut the fuck up and let your band ride it out.
It was like 90s or something. That was 86. They were playing Rock at Grand Park.
Yeah, and that was the first appearance we saw him. Hair Club for Rockers.
Hair Club for Rockers.
And Keel opened up that show, and Keel kicked their fucking ass.
Kicked them right at the stage.
Did you see that show, Hoover?
No. First time I saw Quiet Riot was at I'm thinking the Staircase. Sometime in the 90s. The old Staircase that used to be next to Savo's.
Right.
Where's the places?
We see them. We saw them at I think it was the Bruise Brothers then in the 90s.
Voodoo Lounge.
Voodoo Lounge, yeah. And was it West Pittston? DuPont or something. One of those places down there. But I'll tell you what, I mean, they were a really, really good live band. And Carlos Cavazo, he's another one of those guys that does not get talked about in guitar players. I think he should. He is fucking fantastic. And even the stuff he did in Rat on the Infestation album is just absolutely kick-ass. So let's go around. We'll do the list first. And we did the randomizer. And BB, you came up first.
Whoa! Alphabetical order. Here we go. All right. I am all over the place. I have already said a lot of somewhat hatred for Mental Health, but they came out with a lot of good shit. So I'm going to go all the way back and start my list at number 10 with the Rehab album, with the song It Sucks to Be You. I think that's a fun song. It has a catchy chorus. The guitarist, Neil Crichton, using this crazy distortion in that song is just so sick. And the band harmonies, I'm going to talk about these band harmonies because these guys always had the harmonies. They always had the guitar player. They always had the harmonies. Fantastic, fantastic song. Check that out. Check that whole album out. Rehab, we're going to talk about a couple more albums that I don't understand why they're not out there. And on a shorter, smaller note, I wanted to listen to Quiet Riot 10. That's not even on YouTube.
I looked for it too. I couldn't find it.
I don't understand. Hoover, this is what I want to ask you. You're the big CD guy. Do you have Quiet Riot 10 in your catalog of million CDs?
Can you hold? I got to walk across the room and look.
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah,
keep talking.
I never saw it.
I didn't know it was out until I looked it up on the discography on Wikipedia the other day.
We talked about this the other day. I don't think it ever came out.
No?
They were talking about it. And
I heard it talked about, but I never heard it.
I think the only thing I found on YouTube today was a guy.
There's some live stuff too.
There was a guy from Canada, and he did like a couple things with a bunch of Quiet Riot albums, and he said a couple songs, and I'm like, so I just searched the song. I'm like, well, that was the only thing on Quiet Riot 10 was that guy from Canada, some guy talking about Quiet Riot albums, but yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird that it's like nowhere to be found. All right, so song number 9 from Alive and Well, I picked Angry. Once again, we already talked about Carlos, and the crazy distortion he uses on this song is just amazing. The band vocals, again, the background vocals on this song is really, really cool. The solo is just classic, sick Carlos and classic Quiet Riot. I love that song, Angry. Really, really brings out the old Quiet Riot back in like 99, maybe, I think that album came out. But a great, great song. Song number 8. I went with Street Fighter from Guilty Pleasures. Heavy and fast. Like you don't think it's a song that came out in 2001. It sounds like it's more like an old 1983 song. It was just crazy fast, hard rock song. The solo in it's amazing. But the outro solo is just even sicker. So check that song out. Really, really awesome. Street Fighter from Guilty Pleasures. Song number 7 on my list. I have to have at least one song off of Mental Health, but actually I have 2. But this one is Breathless. I love the drum beat in this song. The guitar tone that Carlos uses is really, really cool. The shredding on this song is so sick. It's just like that song that kind of gets forgotten about on this album because there's so many good songs on this album. But Breathless is definitely one of those songs I always go to on this album. Song number 6 from Quiet Riot. The opening track, Stay With Me Tonight. It has that deep purple electric keyboard opening from Jimmy Waldo. Then a little bit later on, Carlos comes in with some ripping guitar work. And then Frankie finishes with his big drum opening trio, I'll call it. But what makes this song is Paul Shortino from Rough Cut. Love this album. My favorite Quiet Riot album. This is almost like we already talked in the beginning off air. This Quiet Riot album is like my Motley Crue album, like one of my big favorite Motley Crue albums without Vince Neil. So this is my favorite Motley Crue album without Kevin DuBrow. I think Paul's a great add to these guys at this time. He sounds the way he sings this song. It's almost like he's got like a David Coverdale meets a Steven Tyler vocal. It's just a fantastic opener for that whole album. Like I said, my favorite go-to album easily. Song number 5 is Can't Get Enough from the Road Rage album. So this song features James Durbin, Steve's new ear love, the Durbin album that's out now. Steve's all over that. Love this song. Alex Rossi is a great guitarist on this album too. Just the sound is great that these guys put together. They bring back Chuck Wright to play bass. It's just a great tune. It has the great beat. James Durbin high-pitched vocals are so cool on this song. And it's just another fresh start for these guys to get back out on the road. They put out 2 albums with Durbin. And just a great way to showcase that band, because I really love those. Love that band they put together. Saw them at the Penn's Peak. Fantastic show. But another great chapter to this band, and how many lineups they've had. So song number 4. Let's go to the album Condition Critical with Scream and Shout. That string scratching opening that Carlos does is so cool. Has a great galloping drum beat in the beginning. It's another fast and heavy song from these guys. The chorus has these big gang vocals, and Kevin screams at the end is so fucking amazing. Song number 3 is Run for Cover off of Mental Health. For me, this is the hidden gem of Mental Health. Big drums, the shredding guitar, even has like a little bit of like an ambulance siren in the solo, which is really, really cool. Great song that, once again, is hidden in that fantastic Mental Health album that everybody had out there. Song number 2 is All Wound Up from Down on the Bone album, BC. I knew you were hoping you're going to have a little Down on the Bone tonight. Frankie kicks ass on this song. His drums are so out front. This is probably the best mixed album I think is in their catalog. The drums, the bass, so fantastic. Mixed great. Kevin's little raspy vocals in the beginning are really, really cool. Then when he gets to the chorus, he goes to a different level. He gets like these higher vocals in the chorus. And easily, that solo in that song is the sickest banana solo Quiet Riot has on their catalog. And my favorite Quiet Riot song. So here comes the laughing and pointing. I picked off of Quiet Riot the song Don't Want to Be Your Fool. It's the hat trick power ballad, I'm going to call it. You got the piano, you got the guitar, and you got Paul Shortino. Fantastic, fantastic song. Amazing a power ballad for 1988. Should have been all over the radio. The riff's amazing. The piano work is fantastic. This is what the piano in Quiet Riot should be, not from Quiet Riot 3. So that is my crazy, mixed up, all over the place list.
All right, cool. Hoover, first of all, did you find Quiet Riot 10?
All right, I went through my collection, and the last new album I have by them is Rehab, which is the album before that.
Okay.
So I have Guilty Pleasures, Alive and Well. I have Terrified, QR3, Condition Critical, Mental Health, the Randy Rhoads Years. I have Live at the US Festival CD DVD combo, and I also have Greatest Hits Live, and also a Greatest Hits album.
Nice. Okay. We're wondering, that may have not been released.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. According to Wikipedia, it says it is. There's supposed to be 6 studio songs and 4 or 5 or 6 live songs, but I don't know.
I don't think it came out.
But no way. I don't know. So who knows? Yeah, we'll just go around. We can just give us 1 or 2 of your songs from BB's. What do you think of BB's list, Hoover?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, he went to a lot of the later albums that I really haven't touched on in a long time. I knew we were talking about this, and I kind of breezed through them the other day on the iPod, and nothing really stuck out to say, oh, yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, I remember this one. But my list is going to be vastly different. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Parchatino was a great guy to fill in the slot. I mean, again, I agree with you with the Motley Crue thing. If they called it something different, I think it would have been a lot better. And I got a lot of down to the bone love too.
All right, so, BC.
I don't want to go too deep into that. And one of your picks is one of my picks too, and I'm not giving it up.
All right.
Dylan, did you know any of the songs?
I did not know a single one of them. I'm sure they're all great. I'm not quite participating in this episode because I'm not as up on Quiet Riot's catalog as these fine gentlemen here. But if I recognize a song, I'll be sure to comment. Right now, I'm 0 for 8.
10.
10. I'm over 10.
Okay.
Tell them the truth. You're just still broken up about Kevin.
Come on, two of them was for Mental Health. You definitely
I'm really
heard
disappointed that there's 3 singers already out of the band, and
It's
really
more
sad.
than that.
Yeah. Well, three main singers that I know of.
Yeah. Good list, BB. I know the songs you're talking about, and it's kind of cool that you picked a song from the Durbin era, and I listened to those albums the last 2 days, and actually the other day was the first time I listened to the Hollywood Cowboys, the last one that they did with him, all the way through. That's a freaking great album. I never gave it a chance. I never listened to the whole thing all the way through till the other day, but just not enough to pick something off of there. And that Road Rage album that they did, that was already recorded, and the vocals were recorded with another dude. That I forget one of the 1,000 guys that they had in after Kevin Dubrow passed away, and they actually had that album done in the can, recorded vocals, and then they wanted James to join the band. He said, not unless I get to record the vocals for this album. So they totally re-recorded the vocals for him to do that album, Road Rage. Good album too. There's a lot of cool stuff on there, and but good list though. I was binging the last couple days on these, especially Down to the Bone, Rehab, Guilty Pleasures, like those ones in the 90s that like a lot of people don't really
Kinda
know
forget
about.
yeah.
But it's weird because like most of my songs came from a lot of the older stuff. But, and when we did an episode way back, we did, I think it was the Replacement Singers one. We did the Quiet Riot self-titled album with Paul Sorrentino.
Oh.
And I was surprised that I really thought I liked that album more than I did. I was still thinking about that. I didn't even get a chance to go back and listen to it because I knew I wouldn't pick anything off because there's like way more stuff that I like from that. But it was a cool era, and like you're totally correct, BC. Just like with the Motley Crue '94 album, man, if they called it something else, it could have been huge because that Motley Crue '94 is, and I'm almost positive Hoover's in agreement that is like the best Crue album.
By far, it's not only the best Crue album. It's like my top 5 albums of all time.
Really?
And I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to say Vince Neil Exposed is better than anything he did with Motley Crue.
Ooh, okay.
I love Exposed. That is a fucking fantastic album.
We drank a case of beer.
Yeah. No shit. BC picked me up. Let's go for a ride. Who's this? Just listen.
Just listen.
Fucking fantastic album. All right. Hoover, you are up with your list.
All right, are we going 10 down or 1 up?
You can go 10 down.
All right, number 10, Twilight Hotel from QR3. I just absolutely love that song. I'd consider that a ballad, but I just remember getting QR3 on cassette, and it was like the third song on there. Like I was just so addicted with the first side, Main Attraction, and of course The Wild and the Young, and it was just that flow of songs on the third U.S. release. Don't Want to Let You Go. We're going to do some mental health stuff. I was telling you earlier about me listening to the album every night before I went to bed, and I just got so hooked on the mental health album. Love's a Bitch, same thing. I mean, as a 6-year-old kid when that album was new, it was pretty cool to hear a word that was banned in my house. It was a curse word, bitch. And I just remember hearing it like, oh, I'm glad I had the headphones on so Mom doesn't hear it. Slick Black Cadillac, another one, going back to the mental health album, coming in at number 7. Just that opening and even the horn at the end of the song. I just remember listening to that song over and over and over again. Number 6, Danger Zone. That's a weird song for me because I had a VHS as a young kid of the US Festival, and Quiet Riot opened with Danger Zone, and it was originally meant to go on Mental Health, and didn't get released until Mental Health got reissued in the early 2000s. So there wasn't an actual version, studio version of that floating around until like the early 2000s. And I just always liked that song, Danger Zone. And now that Quiet Riot a few years ago actually released their US Festival on DVD, CD, it's just an amazing song. I love it. Mental Health, that comes down to the video. Just the guys banging their head. And, I think in the video, the one guy's head falls off. That was like the start for me. Like it was the first single from that album, but it really didn't get any airplay until Come On Feel the Noise became a hit. I just remember the video, and that's why that gets so high. Number 4, their anthem, Stomp Your Hands, Clap Your Feet. I just think that song is amazing. I mean, it was catchy, and just the fact that it's kind of the reverse thing instead of clapping your hands, and then going on to Condition Critical, the title track. I just remember that song coming on. If I remember correctly, I think it was the first song on side 2, and that side just kicked in, Condition Critical, and I just like, that is just amazing. Sign of the Times, the opening track from Condition Critical, is just absolutely amazing. And number 1, The Wild and the Young. I don't know if you guys have it. It's not out on DVD. I look every once in a while, but there's a VHS cassette that I own. I don't have a VCR, but it's Bang Thy Head. And it's 6 music videos, Come On Feel the Noise, Mental Health, Party All Night, Mama We're All Crazy. And the last one's the entire, like, 9-minute version of the Wild and the Young video, with the cops and everything else going on in the video. And I love the opening drum beat to that song, just Frankie kicking in the beginning of Wild and the Young. And even their version on Alive and Well, when they redid it, I think it's absolutely fantastic as well.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, great list. And actually, you may hear some of those other songs from me, but that I've seen that video, the Wild and the Young, the long one, but I never had that cassette. It might have been on something that someone dubbed for me off of that or something. But I remember seeing that, and I'm like, this is long. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Just like good list though. I like it. And Danger Zone, that song just missed my list. I remember first time seeing that Us Festival live, and I'm like, what song is this? Because that was
exactly.
was going around like, you know, when people first started getting bootleg stuff. That was one of the shows that came out, and I'm like, what the hell song is this?
And I remember buying Condition Critical, and I'm like, oh, Danger Zone has to be on there because they did it at the Us Festival, and then I get Condition Critical, and it's not on there. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I don't know how that like got left off, if it was just a time thing or what the hell took place, but that's a really good song. And actually, when we saw them in that show at the Voodoo Lounge, they played that night. Mm-hmm. And BC and I, we just about crawled out of that fucking place that night, but it was such a good show. What do you think, BC?
Great list. I mean, some of those you might hear again, but some of those, I mean, there's so much. This is very hard to me. That's why my list is 16 songs, not 10.
Hey, mine was 25.
Hoover emailed is 25.
Mine was more than 16, so I narrowed it down to 16.
Yeah, we'll do honorable mentions when we close out the night. Well, how about that?
Great list.
Yeah, the one that jumped out to me was The Wild and the Young. That's one that is like at the very extent of my Quiet Riot knowledge. Very good song though. I really, it's not anthemic, but it's like, can't think of the right word, but it's a really good song.
Is it your feel good song of the night, though?
It's not a feel good song, but it's like, I don't know, it's got that like power behind it that I enjoy, I guess is how I would say it. So that was a very, very good pick.
Yeah, speaking of the power behind it, if you listen to, like Hoover said, the Wild and the Young on the Alive and Well, those songs that they redid from old songs are fucking fantastic. They just sprinkle that extra heaviness that from kind of doing these songs for years and years and years. Those 5 or 6 songs they did on that album is just great. Another one, Love's a Bitch, as I keep bashing mental health. This is one of my favorite songs from the Us show that they do. I love when they did Love's a Bitch on that. And then, like you said before, Danger Zone from the Us Festival. You know, that whole half-hour show is fantastic.
All right.
Yeah, if you don't have the CD, DVD, I suggest picking it up.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Great. It's still around because I've seen it like a gallery sound, like here and there. I've seen it a couple times. Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure you could get it on Discogs or eBay or Amazon or some freaking thing. But it's really good. And like you said, I mean, they opened up the Us Festival. Imagine being at that show. That would have been just fucking unbelievable. Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, Scorpions, Priest,
Triumph,
Van Halen, like just like
Scorpions,
crazy. That would have been so fucking awesome to be there. Okay, so now there's BB's list and Hoover's list. So we're gonna do our gem song now. We'll take a little break. We'll come back. We'll do our hidden gems. I spoke of this before. This week's gem song is going to be A Little Too Much from Rat, from the Infestation album that was a pick of BC's a couple weeks ago, maybe even last week, for his gem with Carlos Cavazo on lead guitar. So the song's A Little Too Much from Rat from the 2010 Infestation album.
Something that's real. You think you know everything about me. right to ruin what we have made. You still give me no reason why you did what you did to get paid. Wrong, I'm right. Two wrongs don't make a right.
All right, and we are back. Hope you guys enjoyed A Little Too Much from Rat, featuring Carlos Cavazo from Quiet Riot, from the 2010 Infestation album. Fucking fantastic album. If you are not aware of this album or do not have this album, get it. I think that even the CD is pretty expensive. The vinyl is fucking outrageous, like $200 or something like that. But the CD, I think, is pretty expensive, too, now, if you try to get it. And actually, it is on streaming. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. And there's a... Did you see there's a different version of it now on Apple Music? Mm-mm. It's got like a blue cover. So I didn't even really look at it. I don't know if it's just remixed or has extra stuff. I don't know. But there's two versions of it on Apple Music. So I'm not sure about Spotify and Amazon Music and stuff. But so hope you guys enjoyed that. So we'll do our hidden gems. And what do you got today, Dylan?
So as I was saying in the last couple episodes, I've been doing a re-listen or first time listen through of a lot of Queen's catalog. And I got to the album News of the World, which has We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions on there. And there's a song on there that I'd never heard before that I was really interested in. It's a very different song for Queen. It's called Sleeping on the Sidewalk. And it's a kind of a bluesy song sung by Brian May. Almost like has the same kind of tempo as Pride and Joy. So that kind of blues type deal, just to give you a picture of it. Really, really cool song. Good guitar solo from Brian May. It's just a nice change of pace for them because they love doing out there stuff. They'll do like vaudeville type songs at times. They'll do hard rockin' songs. They'll do operatic songs. And here's them doing a blues song, Sleeping on the Sidewalk, from Queen off of the News of the World album.
How's Brian May's vocals?
He's not bad. He's good.
Okay.
I mean, like, all the vocalists from Queen are really good. This is actually one of the few songs in their catalog, no vocals from Freddie Mercury at all. So,
BC, what do you got?
Traveling across the country, so I really got into Shakira. Now, if you believe
Did you say Shakira?
Shakira.
Hips don't lie. That was a great Super Bowl halftime show, though. Yeah. Like with Jennifer Lopez.
I'm only kidding. If you people believe that.
I thought you were talking about chakra and just pronounced it wrong.
If you guys believe that, I'll tell you another one. And you're drunker than I am. No, just going over a bunch of tunes, and, you know, the shit comes up on the bottom, and this band, I just love this song. Warrior Soul came up in the bottom with the Wasteland. I mean, this band was big, I want to say early 90s. Help me out there, Steve.
Yeah, I'd say so.
They were like
92, 93.
They were never big, but they kept putting out album after album. I love these guys. They're just like straight ahead rock, you know, lyrics are very like fuck you in your face. But this song says it all. It's The Wasteland by Warrior Soul.
All right, cool. I'll go next. The other day I was going through my vinyls, checking out, and came upon the first self-titled Fastway album, which is fantastic. And I'm like, I'm going to put that. And then I'm like, no, you know what? And I'm like, ooh, shit, All Fired Up. Second album from 1984. fucking fantastic follow-up to it. Pretty much a forgotten album. When you hear about Fastway, you pretty much only hear about the self-titled one, and which, I gotta say, I was able to see them live. They opened up for Iron Maiden in 1983. But the All Fired Up album is a really good backup to the original one. So definitely check that out. Fastway, All Fired Up from 1984. All right, BB, what do you got? You're gonna have the wow factor at the end. I can feel it.
First off, I want to say thank you to current Quiet Riot guitar player Alex Grossi. He gave us a little bumper for the show, so I want to kind of thank him for that. And let's showcase.
After you insulted him.
Let's showcase what he did on some of the backing tracks of Bang Tango's Pistol Whipped in the Bible Belt, released 2011. Great album. I think BC and I saw them at Penn's Peak when they opened up for the Todd Latore Quiet Riot that Steve missed. But I think then Scott LaFlame was the guitar player back then. But a great album, some really good stuff. Dick in the System, hilarious, fantastic song. So if you guys love old 80s rock, this is definitely in your wheelhouse. Pistol Whipped in the Bible Belt by Bang Tango.
And Suck It Up is the fucking best song on that album, by the way.
Yes.
Really good. All right, so Hoover's going to set out the gems this week. So here's our gems this week. Dylan has Queen, the song Sleeping on the Sidewalk that Brian May sings from the News of the World album. BB's spotlighting Alex Grassi's background vocals on the Pistol Whipped in the Bible Belt album from Bang Tango. BC's listening to some Shakira and Warrior Soul, The Wasteland. And I have Fastway All Fired Up from 1984. So, and actually, when we took a break for the gems, BC had a question for Hoover, and I stopped him in the middle because I thought it would be a good discussion for us to have. So go ahead, BC.
All right. There's past few years, there's been a lot of stuff with like bands carrying on without a lot of people and doing the deal thing with the hologram. And so Quiet Riot apparently is go to tour without any, I can't say original members, but any of the namesake members, so to say.
Right. I think Chuck Wright's the most.
Chuck Wright's the only one that's remotely
Uncle Chuck
close. And I don't know. For me, I'm sorry. You got to have at least somebody. It's hard enough to do it without your original vocalist. But people have done it. But when you have nobody from the heyday, so to say, your bulk of your material, I don't know.
Although, and Hoover brought it up to us when we were taking the break there, Chuck Wright played the lion's share of the bass on Metal Health, but he's not known for it because Rudy Sarzo's.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not saying anything like that. It's just that, I don't know. I mean, it's almost like a cover band in my book. I'm sorry.
What do you think, Hoover?
I'm not a fan of it. It's just, I think it's just too many members too far away from the core of the band. Mm-hmm. I don't even think I'd be comfortable if it was just Rudy and Carlos with a different drummer and a different singer. I still don't like. I'd probably go to see Carlos and Rudy play, but I wouldn't say, "Hey, I'm going to go see Quiet Riot." I'm going to go see Rudy and Carlos, if that makes sense.
What do you think, BB?
Yeah, because I don't even is it still just Alex and Chuck?
The band right now is Alex Grossi, Chuck Wright on bass, Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative on drums, and Jizzy Pearl singing.
Oh, so the only really new guy is the drummer.
Right, because Jizzy sang with them back in the day.
Johnny Kelly filled in
for Frankie when he was sick.
Right,
when he was sick.
Right.
But I don't know.
See, that's a tough one because like even think back in the days like when there were two LA Guns in it, and like there was very shortly there was like two like Great Whites like.
There's two rats.
Two rats, two Queens Rights.
Two Queens Rights. I don't. But at least they had members from the
heyday.
Right.
The heyday, you want to call it, whatever.
Right.
I think Hoover said it good.
Maybe
the core.
Can we since we had the Quiet Riot album, we had the Quiet Riot 3 album, we had the Quiet Riot 10 album. Can we just call it Quiet Riot 2?
There is the Quiet.
Now would there already is a Quiet Riot.
There already is a Quiet Riot 2.
Right. Yeah, that's what Randy Rhoads.
Oh.
That's not
Impossible to get. I've never gotten a good quality of either one of those albums.
Yeah, I am totally unfamiliar with any of the Randy Rhoads albums.
Ones. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm totally unfamiliar with the Randy Rhoads stuff. For me, for the I don't know, Jizzy Pearl thing, they just played a show like down around Philadelphia about a month ago. They did it, a socially distant show and stuff like that, and some people that
must have been easy for them.
Yeah, someone commented just like almost exactly that. And people that I'm friends with on Facebook went. They said they had a really good time. They said it was good. I don't know. I think
I'm not saying nothing.
I would see them, but I don't think they should be the main band playing.
No, I don't know. I mean,
if it was like
so and so's tribute to Quiet Riot or something.
Chuck Wright's Quiet Riot.
Something different. Chuck Wright plays tribute to Quiet Riot.
Or just call them here's Mental Health. Calling yourself Mental Health.
Something. Just
Life's
don't use
a
the word.
bitch.
Featuring members of Quiet
Life's
Riot.
a bitch.
Something like that.
Featuring past members of Quiet Riot.
I don't know. It's like I don't think I don't begrudge anybody going out there and playing live.
I'm
really
not saying
don't.
they can't pull it off and be good. I'm
Right.
just saying it's not Quiet Riot in my book.
Right.
Bottom line.
With authority.
Yeah, there's BC banging the table. Yeah, I don't think they should be out there being the main people.
Here's Quiet Riot. No, they're not. I'm sorry.
You could say that about a ton of bands too, though.
Oh, you could.
Because Foreigner, they played without Mick Jones,
Yeah. So there's nobody ever done
and
that.
it's Kelly Hansen and Jeff Pilser are the only two I can name in the band.
Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner. Yeah, so I don't know. It's something like that. I think it depends on how hungry you are to go see a show right now.
So there's this. I'm gonna go big brain for a little bit. There's this philosophical concept of the ship of Theseus. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Where basically there's the ship by the great hero Theseus, and little by little there's like things that need to be replaced on it. Some of the planks of the ship, some of the boards, the sails need to be replaced one by one until it's all completely new. There's not a single piece of original wood on the ship. Is it still Theseus's ship? Is it still the ship of Theseus? And then you go into, well, what happens if you restore the original pieces, you put them back into ship shape and make another boat? Is that the ship of Theseus,
But the difference is you still have Theseus steering the ship.
Yeah, but, I'm just saying it's a fun concept to think about through that way.
I mean, there's a lot of bands you do not consider the bass player that played on a couple albums the leader of the band.
The guy, yeah.
Because that's like, didn't Juan Croucier from Rat have his own Rat? It was like him and like whatever guys too.
Not a good harmony.
That was like,
They were good. Don't get me wrong. They ripped it up. But
it's so
to say it's Rat.
So, yeah,
That's
I
like
think they
Gilby
should-
Clarke going out as Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Gilbert Clarke rocks, but he's not Guns N' Roses.
Izzy Stradlin would be more apt to go out and call his band Guns N' Roses than Gilby Clarke would.
Doing? I have not heard from
I don't
Izzy
know.
since.
Last I saw him was when they put up the sign on the video. Where's Izzy?
He's raising sheep.
No, wasn't he on Slash's first solo album?
I think so, and he did Izzy Stradlin, the Juju Hounds too. He's done some stuff. So
He's had over a dozen solo albums. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, he's just low key. He doesn't want to be.
yeah,
He wants to play music. Not be.
put up with the bullshit of Axl.
Yeah.
All right, so that was an interesting little discussion, and let us know out there, you guys, what do you think? And did any of you out there see that show? If you did, let us know how it was. I mean, like I said, people that I'm friends with on Facebook said it was really good, but do you think they should be calling themselves Quiet Riot? No. All right, list time. BC, give us your list here.
All right,
This is going to get your shovel because he's digging deep.
my 16 songs. I just actually picked 10 out of the 16. So bear with me.
We'll do
people.
honorable mentions when we go around at the
Yeah.
end, so you give us the other 6.
Bear with me here. So I'm going to start off with number 10. I'm going to go with From Down to the Bone with Voodoo Brew. I mean, this is just such an underrated album. I just love the guitar tone on this. It's heavy, and the guitar and the drums stand out in the song so much. I can do away with the.
You don't like the steel drums?
Thank you.
Dude, that's the best part of the song.
Really?
fucking love it.
If you take those out and just the song,
No,
the
no,
chord
leave
song.
them in.
Really, it don't bother me. I mean, but that's not like essential part of that.
It's not a
If
keep.
BC was Michael Wagner, he's taking the steel.
Taking it out.
It's not a keep the shoes, lose the dress kind of thing. You got to have them in there.
Yeah, so I don't know. If it was me, I would lose the drums. Thank you for letting me know. I'm listening to it for the next few days. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I couldn't think of it. It saved my mind. But that would be my number 10 track. And of course, the drums and guitar are phenomenal. Carlos, you're going to hear that on
There
this
you go.
list. All right, number 9. I'm going to stick with Down to the Bone album with Trouble again. Just love the guitar riff. And Frankie's drums stand out in this. To me, Kevin sounds good out of all of them. I love the bass and the bass line in the chorus. And of course, Carlos. Psst. 8. I'm going to go down to Quiet Riot 3 with Rise or Fall. I love the opening riff. It kicks. And I love the song. If you listen to it, if you I always say take the keys out and push the guitars up, this song's off the scale. BB's over there playing keyboards. But the whole album, I think they should have did what they did in 1999 and redid this whole fucking album.
Without the keyboard.
Without the keyboards, it would have been a great album. Okay, that was number 8. So let me find number 7. Number 7 from Terrified, 1993 is Cold Day in Hell. I just love the way Frankie starts into it and Carlos cranks in with the guitar riff. To me, this is like a heavier Quiet Riot. That sounds kind of weird. I think it's some of Kevin's strongest vocals. I like the little bit, that little solo before the solo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Little lead break.
And then just fucking Carlos. Carlos is such an underrated person in this band. I'm sorry. Oh, number 6. Going to 1999's Alive and Well with The Ritual. To me, I just love the bass, and it's such a heavier, slower, not toned down, speed-wise, laid back and heavier for Quiet Riot. Guitar riff, the bass, such a great song. Number 5, The Wild and the Young, but I'm picking the 1999 re-recorded version that was on Alive and Well. So much better. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Carlos just rips it up throughout the whole part. I love that little bass. I don't know what you want to call it, jiggy jam, whatever, before the solo. Jiggy jam right before the solo, and then, of course, fucking Carlos. Number 4, from Condition Critical, Scream and Shout. I can't. I was going to drop it out, but I just love the double bass in this song. Carlos' fucking solo is off the scale. This is one of the standouts on Condition Critical in my book. The background vocals, I'm always a little giddy for any band that has the background vocals going. Then we're going to go down to my number 3 would be off of Terrified, Psycho City. Love the opening riff. The drums and bass are killer in the song. And then like when you get to the solo, I just love when you hear the bass clear as a bell when Carlos is soloing. And then another part is when Kevin and Carlos is kind of going back and forth.
Little vocal.
He says
guitar.
something and Carlos and he says, I just that's so cool. And then of course Carlos. Number 2, I'm gonna go with I don't know what's from. Kind of an unreleased thing, left off track, but it's been out there. Danger Zone. I just love the drums, guitar kick in, and the short solo slows down before the second part, and the background vocals. And like you said, from the US Festival in '83, how can you? I mean, that's just a cranking song to come out with. Why I did not make any album, I have no idea. But then again, I have no idea. So, I mean, it was hard to pick a number 1 song because the whole first album to me is beyond cranking. But if I was going to pick one off that, it'd be Slick Black Cadillac. Just right out of the gate, punches you in the face, and it's nonstop. The group vocals, and it's the live versions are off the scale throughout the releases. But I'm going with the album version for Slick Black Cadillac.
All right.
Slick Black Cadillac is probably my favorite popular Quiet Riot song, I would say. It's got that drive right from the beginning, and I love the background vocals. The background vocals are really good in the chorus there. It's just that, punch the air, rocking out song. It was probably my favorite song that James Durbin sang when we saw him at M3. Like, it was my favorite rendition of the older songs was when he did Slick Black Cadillac. So, yeah, fantastic.
Hoover.
I love that Slick Black Cadillac made it. It was on my list. And if nobody knew this, it's the only song on the album that has a Randy Rhoads co-write on it. But great list. A lot of the deeper stuff from the later albums I haven't heard in a long time. So I got some homework to do after the podcast.
Hoover's going to put his beer on ice and listen to newer/old Quiet Riot all weekend.
Newer/old.
It's going to be a Quiet Riot weekend on Rock 107. All right. BC's list, you are going to hear some songs repeat as well. When I hear Danger Zone, I think of
Kenny
how that was left off. No, I do not. I feel the need for speed. No, how that song got left off the album, it reminds me of Total Eclipse from Iron Maiden. That was a song that they did live when they come out with Number of the Beast, that first show that they played at the Hammersmith when Bruce came in the band. They played Total Eclipse. They played it on that tour. Never made the album. But they didn't play Gangland live, which made the album instead of Total Eclipse. But I wonder what song made the album on Metal Health rather than Danger Zone. Because if you look at that album, there's nothing you really want to take off that album.
Probably come on for
Well, Kevin DuBrow didn't even want to sing that fucking song. He didn't want to do it.
Exactly.
And it ended up being their
these guys open up
their breakout song.
They opened up one of the
Take
biggest
off
shows
Battle
they did
Axe
with this song.
Take off Battle Axe.
Let me put it this way: the biggest show they ever did, they opened up with that song.
Yeah. If you think about it.
There's no way in hell they played any show ever bigger than the fucking S-Fest.
No
way. There's no way. No way.
I wonder if it wouldn't fit on the album. Time-wise. That's why they made Battle Axe for that minute and whatever.
Yeah, but maybe they did that just to take up time. They could have put a song
that's what
in
I'm
there.
saying. Maybe Danger Zone is too long.
Is that really long?
I don't know.
Some record guy did like it.
I don't. Well, hang on one second.
But why would you when you have that great song in the tank? Why would you put an instrumental on your?
I don't know.
Buried it number whatever it is 6, 7, 8. It's
your
on
debut album.
It's on there. It's on the second side.
What do you think of his list there, BB?
I enjoyed it. Very good list. I like the deeper stuff. The Ritual. I love that song. That's a great album. That album is really mixed well. It's funny going through some of the songs on a playlist that I made, and some of them are so much lower than the other ones. But all the songs from Alive and Well, it's just that whole album is just mixed so well. And Scream and Shout, I love that song from Condition Critical. Fantastic song. Very, very good list. About time you showed up this week, BC.
Good job, BC.
God damn it!
Well, I just looked up the Mental Health album. It's 40 minutes long. They could have put Danger Zone on there.
I'm telling you, some record guy said no way.
I don't know what happened. I don't think I remember reading that in Rudy's book. And there's really not, I don't even think it's said on the documentary because I didn't really get into really a lot of the recording stuff either with that. So, all right, BC, cool list, and time for mine. You're going to hear a couple repeats from BC. I'm going to go with number 10, Let's Go Crazy from Metal Health. I love the gong in the beginning. Fucking love that song. Excellent. Also, Psycho City from Terrified. When they did that song live, we saw them at the Voodoo Lounge. We were like, holy fuck. Just a great, great rocking song.
I drank 3 beers during that song.
And my next song, number 8, is going to be the last song on Condition Critical, We Were Born to Rock. Fucking fantastic song. Great way to close out an album. Love it. And then I go number 7, Stop Your Hands, Clap Your Feet. I've always loved that song since I got to see them perform that live from before they even had Condition Critical album out. Just a great song, and I like Hoover said, like, it's the opposite of what you actually do. You know, you stomp your feet and you clap your hands. They have it flipped around, which is a really cool way to do it. Number 6, I go with Whatever It Takes from Down to the Bone. I love those mid to late 90s albums. There's a lot of great stuff on there, and Kevin Dubrow produced those albums, and the production is really, really good on there because him and some other dude, I forget what his name was, they started a record label so that they could record that Quiet Riot album, Terrified, and then hopefully get other bands to come on that label for Kevin Dubrow to produce them. But Terrified didn't do good, so then they put out Down to the Bone, and then after that they kind of said, you know what, fuck it. And the other dude that was with him said, you know, he broke even, so he didn't really lose any money on it. But we got 2 great fucking Quiet Riot albums out of them. Next one, number 5. This one's going to be from a Mental Health song, but it's the version from Alive and Well. Don't Want to Let You Go. For some reason, I hate the version on Mental Health. I don't know why. I fucking hate it. But the version on Alive and Well is fucking fantastic. And because it actually on that, it feels like they're recording that live. I don't know why. That's one song on that Alive and Well that it really sounds like they're all in the same room recording that song. Fantastic. He does some couple different vocal inflections on it that I really like, and it's a great version. I go with from Down to the Bone, Voodoo Brew, and I do love the steel drums in that BC. I think it's fucking fantastic. It makes the song. I go with number 3, Slick Black Cadillac. Always, always, always love that song. Always my top 3. Number 2, Wild and the Young from Alive and Well as well, because it doesn't have that. I think the production on Quiet Riot 3 is a little stale. It came out in '86. It was when they were throwing fucking keyboards and everything, and it was because when they open up with Main Attraction, it's like keyboards. Like you have Mental Health, boom, starts right off with, you know, Bang Your Head, and then you got Condition Critical, Sign of the Times, like right off the bat, you got 2 boom boom songs, and then they come out with I'm like, what the like, this is not the Quiet Riot that I want. You know what I mean? Because everybody was doing it at the time. Oh, you're gonna jump off the Brooklyn Bridge if everybody else does, but it's a great song, and they do Wild and the Young way better, I think, and the production's better, and it has more oomph in it. And my number 1 song is absolutely, hands down, Love's a Bitch from Mental Health. I've always loved that song. That's always been my favorite Quiet Riot song. I love it, and I told the story before, and when they had Hoover, you probably remember when Kevin Dubrow passed away, they did the tribute show on the House of Hair on Rock 107, and I got picked to do one of the tributes. So they recorded me, and I dedicated Love's a Bitch to Kevin Dubrow, and I would love to find that clip. But it was really cool doing that. They called me on the phone. I mean, this was, 2009 probably, right? 2007. So it would have been 2008, I think. It was like winter of 2008 that they actually did the show, because he passed away in maybe November of 2007. And but it was really cool doing that. And Love Is a Bitch has always been my favorite Quiet Riot song. And I just, actually, with us talking here, has anybody ever seen, I couldn't tell you the name of the show. There was a concert show that was on one of the cable channels in it had to be around 83 when Mental Health was out, because Quiet Riot was on there. They did Slick Black Cadillac. They did Come On Feel the Noise. They did Mental Health. They did Love's a Bitch. They were on there. Quarter Flash was on there. Joe Walsh was on there. They had a bunch of different bands on there spotlighting them. They'd show 4 songs from each band. I could not for the life of me think of the name of that show, but it was cool as fuck. So I don't know if that was the first time I ever heard Quiet Riot or not, but it was right around that time. So there's my list.
You and your steel drums. Anyways, I mean, good list. I mean, going back to Condition Critical, I mean, I don't know what happened there. I mean, the album didn't seem to carry on after Mental Health, but how do you top that? And I think time-wise, music scene-wise, I think that album was pushed too much. They pushed it to come out. But a lot of great stuff off that album that gets overlooked. And of course, he picked some of my songs too. He loves a bitch. I mean, that was my number one song. And Let's Get Crazy. How Can You Not Go Wrong? I mean, their first album was just, even though it's not their first album, but first mainstream album they came out with. Great picks. I mean, so.
Yeah, definitely some great picks. And Loves a Bitch is has to be thrown in the mix when you're talking about Quiet Riot, and especially really anything off that Mental Health album. It's just fantastic. I think the one for me that really stuck out was Whatever It Takes from Down to the Bone. Love that album. It's a fantastic album, and that song just rocks. And that's like old Quiet Riot, released later down the road that you want to hear. It just grips you, but fantastic list.
So many people don't know about that.
Yep. Yeah. Hoover.
I love the fact that Loves a Bitch made number one for you. Like I forget where it fell on my list. It was number 8. But you think about that song, that really showcases the vocal range of Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
He really had a great voice, and it's not like they were on a major record label in '83. I think it was like they were on Pasha or something like that. So their budget to record that album was probably a couple $1,000s, and the fact of a song like that, that's his voice. There's no super editing or anything else on a mixing board making that happen. That was Kevin doing that. It's just such a great song and a great number one.
Let's Get Crazy was the one that stuck out on your list besides Slick Black Cadillac that I know. That's another good. The Right Now, Let's Get Crazy. Great chorus. They're really good at choruses. They know how to do an earworm. They know how to get you singing along and banging your head. They're really good at that, I think, and that's just that song's a real good showcase of it.
All right, now, and actually, I'm gonna read off all the Quiet Riot albums for all those of you out there that think that Mental Health is the only album that they fucking have. Okay, the first 2 are Japan only releases. These are with Randy Rhoads. Quiet Riot self-titled, Quiet Riot 2. The 1983 Mental Health. 84, you got Condition Critical. 86, Quiet Riot 3. 88, Quiet Riot self-titled again with Paul Shortino. Then they're off for a while. Kevin Dubrow comes back 1993 for Terrified. 95, Down to the Bone. 99, Alive and Well, which had, I think, 8 original tracks, and they do a cover of Highway to Hell, and then there's like 4 or 5 remakes of songs. Fantastic album. 2001, Guilty Pleasures. 2006, Rehab, which we're going to drop BB off at again on the way home. The elusive Quiet Riot 10 album. We were talking about this during our break. It's in their discography. None of us have ever seen it or heard anything from it. There's supposed to be like 6 new songs for the time. It would come out 2014. Songs that they had done with Kevin Dubrow, so they must be like demos or something that they did earlier, and then like 4 or 5 live tracks on that one. 2017, James Durbin joins the band. Road Rage is that album, and then 2019 they come out with Hollywood Cowboys, which was Frankie Banali's last album. But people don't realize what a discography these guys have. And I implore you people, if you do anything, check any of these albums out. Check out Alive and Well, Terrified, and Down to the Bone. Alive and Well is on streaming services. Down to the Bone and Terrified are not. You can find them on YouTube. You can just click on one thing and it'll play the whole album for you. And if you put your cursor over the logo, it'll tell you what song is playing. And just absolutely fantastic. So we'll go around the table and we will wrap up. And BB, go ahead so you can go wash your hands. His marker, his ink pen exploded here on him.
God damn.
Man, my fucking ink pen's a bitch. But no, this is a great episode. As I like to bash Quiet Riot, it's just one of those sign of the times of oversaturation of that one album, and it just seems like they came out balls to the wall crazy. Your best album, your first out the gate, and it just seemed like after that it just didn't keep up to your first album. But later stuff is amazing. Alive and Well is mixed fantastic. Down to the Bone also as well. It's just produced fantastically. I think it's just the time. Like everybody just kind of like everything else. Like all that kick-ass music released back in the early 90s, like nobody listened to. But there's so much good shit out there. It's just everybody just got like lazy and stopped listening to it. But their catalog, 14 albums is just a testament of what a great band they actually were, and the good shit they put out. And this was a great episode, and it really got me deep into their catalog. And I hopefully we can find that Quiet Riot 10 to actually scope it out, because I'm very curious what songs are on there.
Absolutely. Okay, Hoover, wrap it up. Give Rock 107 and give yourself a good blast here.
All right. Rock 107, just listen in the afternoons. Don't worry about listening to Prospector. This was a great episode. I'm glad I got invited to it. I was surprised that none of the Randy Rhoads stuff made it on anybody's list, correct?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with any of it, to tell you the truth.
All right. Now, there is... I've been over the years, I have bought several copies of Quiet Riot 1 and QR2. Got them home from the record fair, threw them in the CD player, and they immediately went in the trash because they were just the worst quality you could ever imagine. But Kevin Dubrow did remix a lot of songs back in the early 2000s. He put out the Randy Rhoads years. You can hear a lot of early Ozzy stuff. You can hear the makings of No Bone Movies. You can hear the makings of Crazy Train and D. And then the Laughing Gas. It's a live song that Randy recorded with the band in '77. It's actually basically almost note for note of the guitar solo on Tribute. So if that's something somebody wants to check out. But Quiet Riot, it was like my introduction to hard rock. In 1983, to have something so cool on MTV when everything else wasn't that cool, it just brings back so many memories for me. My brother's a big Quiet Riot fan, and so is my 13-year-old nephew. He was really into Quiet Riot as well. Again, I mentioned that we had Quiet Riot in 2007 at the Birthday Bash, which was my doing, which was awesome. I got to see Quiet Riot a couple times with Rudy and Carlos, one of them being on the Rock Never Stops tour up at the Broome County Arena. I think it was Slaughter, Ted Nugent, Quiet Riot, and Night Ranger.
Yep.
Got to see them a couple times down the arena when they were on one of those packages, and here and there at the Staircase and other places over the years. And Frankie, I actually still have his cell phone number in my phone. God rest his soul. He was a great guy, and anytime he was coming to town, always reached out to me via email or text and said, "Hey, I'm coming to town in a couple of weeks. How about we chat on the phone next week?" And I have a storage of maybe about 12 or 13 Frankie Benali interviews sitting on a reel-to-reel somewhere around here at the house. But I'm so glad you guys had me on this episode.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on. Dylan.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Mark. It's always great to get your opinion on things. And Quiet Riot's a really good band that I need to get more into because, I've heard the hits. I've heard past that. I've seen them live once or twice. I think twice. I was thankfully able to see Frankie before he passed. Bombastic drummer. Sometimes overplayed, but he was still good, still in the pocket, and respectable in his position. They're a band that they're a staple. They're in the movie that Kenny Loggins did the title track for, Footloose. They did,
Mental Health.
Mental Health was in there as Kevin Bacon was driving through the town.
Driving through the town, yep. Cop
Gets pulled over by the cop.
Watch that attitude, son.
John Lithgow's really good in that movie as the pastor. But anyways, Quiet Riot, great band. I need to get deeper into their catalog for sure. Especially since there's so many different albums other than Mental Health, like you said, that people either don't know about or they overlook because Mental Health was so out there. So definitely check them out. You could listen to all the songs that were mentioned, most of the songs that were mentioned on the Spotify playlist of the week. There's, I think, one from BB's that isn't on Spotify.
There's probably a couple.
Maybe a couple Two Tree, but
I think the ones from Terrified and Down to the Bone, I don't think they're on there.
Yeah, but the ones that we can find, rest assured, they will be on the Spotify playlist of the week. So you can listen to them and get deeper into Quiet Riot.
Okay, Hoover, thanks for coming on. As always, good time.
Thanks for having me.
Quiet Riot, I mean, I don't know how we haven't really talked about these guys. I mean, here's a band that this episode took way back to back in the day with the West Side Theater and having your Walkman. You thought you were the cat's ass when you had your Walkman. But such great material other than the hits. And I think a lot of the material is not even known to a lot of people because of the hits. But overall, just classic band. I mean, some of the greatest lyrics ever. I want to kiss the lips, not the ones on your face. Is that not classic hard rock, or is that not classic hard rock? I remember hearing that when I was 13 years old. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. And then talk about Frankie. I mean, he was such a great guy. I mean, me and BB met him.
Oh,
after
yeah.
He played at the Penn's Peak. He came down, got a picture with us, spoke a little bit. I mean, just a really down-to-earth guy, unfortunately. I mean, rest his soul. But this is just a great band with so much great material out there. And if you haven't heard any of it, get out there and check it out.
Yeah, once again, thanks, Hoover, for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure having you on here. You definitely have an awesome voice for the podcast. Great radio voice. Check out Hoover on Rock 107, WEZX Rock 107, and they have an app. You can download the app. You can listen to him. Hoover's on the air from 3 to 7 every day during the week. He always has a good show when he's on the air, and it's always fun having Hoover on here. And thank you, Alex Grassi. I've been pronouncing it wrong, apparently, all the time we've been doing the podcast. I usually say Grossi because that's how it's spelled, but it's Grassi if you listen to the bumper. So thank you, Alex, for doing that for us. We really appreciate it. And, thanks also for helping keep, Quiet Riot alive for, what is out there now. And I'm overall, I'm glad to see that at least they're doing the show. You know what I mean? They're out there playing. So even, during this time, during the pandemic and stuff, there is bands out there trying to get out there, trying to play, and they've already played a show. But I've always enjoyed Quiet Riot, and like we talked about before, they have so much more material than I think most people that consider themselves Quiet Riot fans know about. And when we saw them at the Voodoo Lounge, when they played songs like Psycho City and Terrified, like we were like, holy shit, like, they actually dug deep, for those club shows, because I mean, they probably played for like 2 hours that night, and much to the chagrin of our livers and heads the next day. But it was just a great show. They were a great band live. Carlos Cavazo is probably one of the most underrated hard rock guitar players ever. Just even watch the Stars video. Tears it up on there. Freaking tears it up on there. But I always liked his playing because he tears it up, but he services the song. It's not like a fucking Yngwie solo. Yngwie, his ears have to be ring almost every time we fucking record. But it's not. The solos fit the song, and I really love that about him. We got to meet him once after M3. Super nice, very, very humble, low key guy. Just very cool. And so, get out there and check out some deeper tracks of Quiet Riot. Even the deeper tracks on Mental Health. Slick Black Cadillac, Breathless. I think BB had that on his list. Friggin' fantastic song. That's one you don't really think of a lot. Let's Get Crazy. A lot of these songs were staples of them live, but even dig into the Condition Critical album, Hoover was totally correct. Like, even the title track is, like, just so, like, and it's an intense song, and I think they brought that out later when they did the Ritual on Alive and Well. It has that Condition Critical feel to it, that kind of not that fast paced stuff, but that like mid-tempo stomping kind of thing to it. So check out some Quiet Riot, you guys. Thank you everybody for listening. Like Dylan said, check out the Spotify playlist. A lot of the songs we talked about tonight will be on there. And actually check out the two newest albums, Road Rage and Hollywood Cowboys, with James Durbin on vocals. They were the last two albums that Frankie Banali recorded. Very good albums. Very good albums. I mean, believe me, they're not Mental Health. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting them up against Mental Health, but they're good albums. There's good songs on there. Alex Grassi plays excellent. The solos are great on there. The songs are really cool. So check them out. I hope you guys checked out our live stream. Hope you guys tuned in live. If not, it'll be on our Facebook page. You guys could check that out. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Next week, we have some really... What do we got next week? Oh, we got a cool one next week too. There's going to be a lot of fighting next week, I think.
Thank God I'm working.
I know BB's he's going to be involved, but not live involved. But
I'll call in case we don't if we don't get a call. I'll call in.
Actually, you may get a call up to where we're recording. So
Heart attack.
yeah, there may be a beatdown up there. So thanks to you guys for tuning in, and thanks for interacting with us. And everybody stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you next time. And there definitely will be a next time.